Hello, everybody. My name is Douglas Arnold Armstrong. I'm the head honcho here at Happy Texas Reviews. Thank you very much if you guys are watching the live stream, or if you guys are watching after the stream ends. Thank you also for watching. Please feel free. Try that again. Please feel free to like, subscribe, join up as a group member, comment below, and please feel free to let other people know that this channel exists here on Facebook. It's completely free, so I highly encourage you guys to please let other people know that this exists. Invite them to it. It's completely free, open to the public. So, and before we get into this video, I want to let you guys know, please feel free to scroll down below. This past Sunday, I did a lot of videos, and I know for a fact that because when I do a lot of videos in synchronizing order on the same day, sometimes you guys will only realize, hey, he's only done one. One of you guys know for a fact that I did 3 this past Sunday. I did a Fortnite review, Shutter Island, and I also reviewed The Haunted Mansion. So this review is for the 2017 reboot movie of It. There was a movie, I believe it came out in the 80s called It, and it was about this terrifying clown. So we're talking about the one that just came out last year, the It movie from 2017, and I honestly really enjoyed this film. I did find a couple problems with it that me personally I didn't like, but in general I enjoyed this film. When this movie was announced that it was actually happening, I was both kind of like really excited and at the same time hesitant. I didn't know how in the world this movie was going to somehow be better than the original. And I have seen the original many times, and I thought it was a masterpiece, creepy as it was. And at the same time, I also thought, you know what? How is the sequel going to be made when the original covers so much information from the Stephen King novel and did a pretty good job of capturing what happens in the movie, I'm sorry, in the book, into the movie. And so when this movie was announced, I was like, okay, I'm excited. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt that it's going to be good, right? It blew my expectations. I was blown away at the whole movie from start to finish. This movie, this reboot, makes the original look like garbage. And that is not an easy thing for a reboot to pull off. We've had reboots, like for example, the Mummy movie recently with Tom Cruise trying to reboot the franchise. That failed miserably for multiple reasons. But this movie blew me away. I was amazed at what they did. They not only made it where it only focuses on the Losers Club being the kids that they are, and that is it. It literally ends after a quote unquote defeat Pennywise, the evil clown. And then that's it. This movie does not go into the whole the thing comes back another 27 something like 27 to 30 years later, and they're all adults and they have to go back and try to defeat the thing again because they didn't kill it the first time. Great job, Stephen King. And I'm just like, they focus on one time frame and they explore it in depth and they add more to it from the novel into the film. And that's something that the first original film, didn't do. It really breezed through a lot of information because it was trying to cover the whole book. This movie focuses on them only being the kids, and it dives head first in, and it basically just it encompasses the entire novel just from chapter 1, and it was amazing. Another thing about this film is there's nothing like it. There's nothing like this film that Hollywood can capture and try to come close to for the magical aspect of this movie being so amazing. I have to say this immediately. Definitely worth owning on DVD and Blu-ray and watching multiple times. Doesn't matter when it is. It's an amazing movie to watch. You can watch it during Halloween, of course, but it's a good summer movie. Not so much Christmas, I guess. I'd suggest watching Gremlins during Christmas. Um, but this movie is just definitely worth watching multiple times. Um, the clown, you get the immediate within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, you know for a fact that Pennywise, the dancing evil clown, is terrifying within those first few minutes. If you haven't seen this movie, haven't read the book, I don't want to spoil it, but oh my god, I watched this movie with my grandma, and she was terrified as shit because of what happens in the opening act, the opening first 5 to 10 minutes. My grandma was freaking out. And I was like, I was watching her, and I'm just like, Grandma, it's okay. This isn't real. It's a movie. She's like, yeah, guys, it's real. This thing could happen. This clown could be living in the sewers and can take you at any time. I'm like, Grandma, it's a movie, and it's based on a book. She's like, well, all books are based on some sort of form of reality. I'm like, Grandma, this is Stephen King. She's like, well, this guy is nuts. And I was just like, Grandma, relax, relax, you'll be fine. So yeah, it captures the terrifying aspect of Pennywise within the first 5 to 10 minutes, and that's one reason I think a lot of people, besides me, of course, really enjoy this film. Is it immediately hits home? This is a horror movie. This ain't gonna be a light breeze. This ain't something that you just sit down and chill for 2 hours. This is a movie that you're gonna be entertained by and engaged in while you're watching. You really do care about all the characters in this film, all the kids. The parents, so, but more importantly, it's focusing on the kids defeating this clown and the clown trying to kill them. So, but you care about the kids and their well-being, and the kids in general make smart choices to avoid danger and death. Usually there are some things that they have to do in order for the plot to move along that kind of can be somewhat stupid, but in general they're making smart decisions of what to do and when to do it. And when they do not do certain things that make sense, then it's understandable why they're not doing it. Amazing cast that was selected for this film, and amazing acting from everybody, especially the actor that plays Pennywise. I thought he did an amazing job. Every kid has a very different and terrifying backstory to them. Even if you haven't had the same type of backstory involving those types of situations, I'm sure that you can somehow relate to them, or somebody that's had that type of tragic backstory. And so you're able to not only care about their well-being as the characters, but you're also able to realize, they all have different backstories. So that was really interesting. This movie is just, I'm going to say it, it's a scary, creepy, classic horror film for everybody. And this reboot captures, in the best possible way, the Stephen King novel adaptation amazingly. I do not want to spoil the big revelation. There is a huge revelation at the end of the film of what Pennywise, the evil dancing clown, actually is. And it did a great job at the end of this film explaining what Pennywise actually is. Just to somewhat spoil just a tiny bit, Pennywise is actually not a clown. He's not a clown. And when I saw this with my mom was like, wait a minute, I thought Pennywise was always a clown. And I had to explain it to my mom, because I've read the book, that Pennywise isn't a clown. Never has been and never will be, unless they decide to really try to destroy the source material. Pennywise is not a clown. And this movie explains what he is and how his powers actually work. It's a great film, has great purpose for the actual purpose of having a sequel. So like I've said, this movie, although it's a reboot, it only focuses on what happens with the kids being kids. It does not go into chapter 2 with them having to come back 27 to 30 years later as adults and having to kill it. The final battle at the very end between the kids and the clown was really intriguing and amazing. I kind of cried right before it happened because of this one scene. When you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about, between the older brother and the younger brother. So yeah. And the lessons that are to be learned in this movie is to overcome fear. Don't let it consume you and overtake you as a person. Always overcome it. There's a great love triangle in the film, and another lesson is about friendship. And then the couple things that I didn't personally enjoy about this movie was this book this movie and its original movie predecessor and the novel that Stephen King wrote, whether people like to admit it or not, this Pennywise, it led to the closing of circuses. It was a leading cause, and if you don't believe me, you can ask anyone that's ever worked in the circus, and you can also Google it. You can find that out for yourself. Another thing that I really didn't enjoy was the musical selection. Um, I mean, I understand and I have a great understanding and love of music, but the music songs and the background music that was playing for this entire film, I didn't understand the choice. It could be because of the time era. Maybe I just don't like that type of time era music, but I honestly hated all the musical selections that they put into this movie with a passion. I didn't like them whatsoever. And then the last thing was this movie was, from start to finish, loaded with unnecessary language. There was a lot of F words, a lot of I do your mom jokes, um, a lot of nerdy, vulgar jokes in this film that I won't talk to you about in this movie. They're in the film throughout, and they just like show up and then they disappear. If you can just like turn your mind off from that and just enjoy the movie for being a horror movie and look past that, then it's okay. But it got to the point where I'm like, it got to a point to me where I'm like, I'm listening to it so much, it kind of started becoming a distraction to the actual plot. Thankfully, though, in the third act, they all go away. In general, there's like one more towards the third act, but in general, the third act was like the final confrontation between the kids and the Pennywise clown, and they kind of like realized, yeah, we need to stop and, finish the movie. So that's going to do it for this review. I'm going to give it, the 2017 film, a 9 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.